Hi, and welcome to Rain Radio, where we have juicy conversations that lead to powerful transformations. We are your hosts. I'm Naomi Calderon.
And I'm Lila Sage, and today, I always get really excited, like, I'm not always this excited. I'm excited anew every week. Today we are talking about sovereignty as it relates to feelings, and you'll understand that more as we get started. So, let's jump right in. Grab your drink and your journal, put on your crown, and let's chat first about the fabulousness that is going on in your cup. Naomi, tell us everything.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So today, the last few days, the last couple of weeks, I've just been feeling physically a little on the not heavy, like, oh my gosh, I just gained weight, but just clogged. Spring cleaning needs to happen, which is appropriate given it's spring right now. And so I got all the stuff to juice. But sometimes that just seems like a lot of work. It really isn't, you guys. It's really not that bad. It just can feel daunting when you've got this pile of veggies that is calling to be washed and chopped and shoved in the machine. But I did it anyway. And so the fabulousness, it's like this fabulous ruby red color because there's beets. But there's also, believe it or not, celery. Boy. People normally, I don't drink celery, but I will juice it.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you know us, you know that's a miracle. Carry on.
Right? I won't drink it straight, and I did add extra ginger because I could taste too much of the celery. I'm like, okay, we're going to stick in the other chunk of ginger too. So it's got some ginger in it. It's got green apples. It's got a little bit of lime. All of that's really super great. All that green stuff is great for your liver. And then the beets are helpful for my kidneys. I stuck in some carrots because we want to get those grounding foods right now. So I'm getting all grounded. And did I miss anything? I think that was it. Oh, and the beet greens, of course, because greens. So, and it is fabulously delicious. Love it.
Now I want a juicer.
I know. I love my juicer. Champion, if you want to send Lila a juicer, we will plug it because I love my Champion juicer, I got to say.
Yep, I will take one, and then I will gush all about it all over the world because anything to get me to consume more veggies, and juiced is my favorite way to consume them.
Yeah, it's delicious. I go back and forth between that and smoothies, but I'm loving the juicing, and to me, it's like I'd rather use that as an energy drink than turn to some sort of chemical-laden crap. So that's my health plug today. What's in your cup?
Water, because I'm preparing for chemical-laden crap later. Balance.
Oh my God, that's
it's called balance. I'm having Dr. Pepper with dinner. Therefore, I had a matcha this morning, and I will drink water from the matcha until dinner time, where I will enjoy probably a third of a cup of Dr. Pepper. My bad habits are so tiny.
People,
but I really shouldn't
kidding.
feel bad about them. I'm really not kidding. I really will. What will probably happen is I will buy this Dr. Pepper, and I will pour cups for all of the people that live in my house, and then I'll just sip out of somebody's cup because I'm not going to drink a whole sip. Okay. I'm better.
I thought it was the kids who are always like, can I have a sip of your stuff? Can I have some of that on your plate? No, Lila's the one doing it. I love it.
It's me. If you ever go out to dinner with me, just know that if I don't ask for a bite of your food, I'm only being polite. I want to taste whatever you're having, and I will offer you some of whatever's on my plate because I believe in sharing.
Now, do you do that if people order the same dish as you?
No.
Okay. So it's just to try the dish. It's not because you've got to have something on somebody's plate.
No. I like the variety, and I like to sample things, but I'm such a tiny eater that I wouldn't eat like 2 whole meals. And so I'm like, oh, okay, so you get this so I can try some of it, and I'll get this and you can have some of it. So I have friends that I go out to dinner with specifically so we can do that.
Oh, yeah.
That was how I
Yeah.
tried roasted beets for the first time and discovered that I do not like them. But I like them if they're juiced or pickled.
Oh, yeah. Fermented pickled beets. Yum. Yeah.
Okay, we have to talk about that later because that one's new to me.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that. Maybe this is actually the food show. You guys didn't realize that's what you tuned into, right?
We thought we were talking about feelings, but apparently we were talking about food. Food
We have
relates
feelings
to
about
feelings.
food, though, right?
And food informs your feelings, actually. If I
And
do
vice
not
versa.
eat the proper things, let me tell you, it is not a fun time.
Mm-mm.
And get grouchy or sleepy or both, which is a horrible
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But those were not the feelings we were planning on talking about.
No, but we may have to table that conversation for another time because that is true, and I think that does play into what we talk about as far as life mastery goes and sovereignty. So I think that's a good one to put as a future topic. But the feelings we are talking about today, are emotional feelings.
Yep.
And especially what came up with this topic is offline, Lila and our good friend Lisa and I have all been talking about really recognizing when feelings are showing up where you're like, wow, this feeling is really intense. I don't think it's mine.
Yeah.
Or it's so intense and you're like, oh, what is wrong with me? If anybody out there listening has ever had that phrase go through your head, because some kind of intense, I'm raising my hand over here, some kind of intense feeling shows up and you're like, but there's no reason to be sad. There's no reason for me to be feeling all this grief. There's no reason for me to whatever that feeling is.
I'm crying while I make the chicken, and I don't know why I'm crying.
Right? Because I didn't cut the onion yet. So what is my problem? Mine often shows up with what is my problem. Can you tell? But no judgment. Especially in this time.
Mm-hmm.
We're in the spring of 2020, people. So if
Yeah.
you're listening to this in the future, Google that.
Yeah.
Okay.
March,
I don't think
the
anybody's
longest year ever.
Right? The longest year lived in 30 days. Absolutely. And so there's a lot of intense emotions around not just our neighborhoods, but the state, the country, the globe right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But now, Lila, I'm going to play devil's advocate here.
Mm-hmm.
That just sounds like a lot of hokum that I would be feeling everybody else's feelings.
Oh my gosh, are we going to get metaphysically nerdy?
Please, let's do.
You're about to learn the extent of my quantum physics knowledge, and it's very tiny. We are all energy, and we are all connected. It's one of the reasons that I do not watch primetime TV during prime time, because I love drama. I love drama on television. It's my favorite way to get drama. I don't like it in my actual life, but I love it on TV. But have you ever, and I'm asking listeners as well as you, have you ever watched a TV show or a movie and got mad at the people on the TV?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Oh my gosh, she's such a bitch. It's happening right now with Tiger King. Everybody is mad at Carol. Everybody. I haven't even seen it, and I know that everybody's mad at Carol because Facebook says everybody's mad at Carol.
Right?
So
the masses have spoken.
The masses have spoken. Carol should be burned at the stake, apparently. There is a energy that happens when we emote. And then the people around us are able to pick up on that energy. Now, they do not have to respond to it or react to it. That's often optional, especially if people are able to manage their own energies, which is my prayer every day. Like, let me manage my own stuff today, because I'm a good sponge. But when it's more than one person, the reason I don't watch primetime TV during prime time is because the entire country is watching Scandal at 8 p.m. on Thursday night because Shondaland. And they're all mad. They're all mad at somebody, probably Cyrus. And I don't want to be mad with them. I don't want to be plugged into that collective energy. I will be mad at Cyrus at 9 o'clock the next morning when it's just me and Cyrus.
Okay, so I'm going to throw something out there, and it will show my nerd side.
Yes.
And now you'll know what shows I watch. Okay, you say into the collective energy. You're making me sound and making me feel like this sounds like we're a bunch of Borg.
I mean, possibly. I'm not sure what you've watched. However,
you don't know about the Borg. Oh dear God, we're going to have some education.
Wait. Is this from The Mandalorian?
No, this is Star Trek.
Okay. Which is
the Borg they assimilate people, and they are the collective, and so it's like they have there's no autonomy. And so they hear each other's thoughts. They know what everybody else is doing.
Oh no.
Oh
okay.
Yeah. So when you use the word collective,
so we have
it's like,
some filter. We have some filter. Yes. Like built-in filter. So it's not as if we sponge up everyone's thoughts, feelings, and emotions. But when they're big and we aren't practiced at maintaining our own, then yes, we do sponge up.
Okay, so a really great visual that just came to me as you were talking about that.
Yes.
When you rub a balloon on your head and it gets all staticky, right? And then you go to your cat and you hold it like an inch away from your cat. You're not touching the cat. But that hair, whoop, goes up towards the balloon, right? Pisses off your cat probably, but because that cat feels that staticky energy.
Yes.
So that's kind of what it can be like.
Yes. Scientific people, please understand that we are storytellers.
Right? Feel free to leave comments explaining it all better than that. Is all good. You can. That's fine. We welcome that. Just be polite and kind, or we will come back. My lovely half side is masterful with energy. And I know we've talked about this before, and even on this call, we'll be on the beach, and he's like, there's dolphins out there. And I'm like, and I don't see squat. I'm like, yeah, okay. Then all of a sudden, they'll breach. And it's like, oh, there were dolphins out there. I should not doubt him. And not because, oh, sure, of course, because it's the ocean. We will be outside of a store, and before we even walk in, he's like, there's a pregnant lady in there. I'm like, okay. And we'll walk in, don't see anything, go around the corner of an aisle, boom, there's the pregnant lady. The man can sense energy like nobody's business, which is a fantastic gift. Except when it's not.
Right.
So sometimes when we're feeling all this energy or all these emotions, as we're kind of talking about today, is all these emotions. Sometimes we get to stop and ask ourselves, is this mine? Do you want to say a little bit about that, Lila?
is this even mine, or who does this belong to? So
Yes.
as an access consciousness tool, the question that you ask is, who does this belong to? And if you get immediate relief upon asking that question, then you know that that thought, that feeling, that emotion is not yours, and you can Harry Potter it back to where it came from with an awareness. But before I became a nerd of all things access consciousness, is this even mine? Was a question that I did not ask regularly, not as regularly and consistently as I ask now, but it is just as powerful. It works the same way. Is this even mine? And if it gives you the slightest bit of relief, then you know it's not yours. And you can keep asking, is this even mine? If it gives you relief and then it comes back, then maybe some pieces of it you have agreed with. And then you can, the simplest way to do it is just set the intention to undo that agreement so that you can maintain your own emotional awareness and not be connected to it. So, for instance, people are panicked and panic buying. And so I walked into the grocery store and the produce section was empty except for apples and limes. And I went, well, this will create a panic. So was that mine? Yes, some of it was. Some of the panic that I felt in that moment was mine because my brain associates wealth and safety and security with food that I want to eat. And I can only eat so many apples before I don't want to eat apples anymore. However, I was also tuned into the collective panic that led to the produce section being utterly empty at our grocery store that one day. And then I walked in the next time and they had restocked everything and I went, okay, panic averted.
Well, and I think the grocery stores recently, because that can be I can see that particular scenario being a bit of both, right?
Yeah.
If I go into the store and I see that, I see that there are no beans on the shelf. The one day when we went into the grocery store, the whole darn thing was practically cleaned out, except for the Easter candy. And I'm like, I can't live on that. So
you could, but your pancreas would revolt.
Oh my God, my pancreas, my liver, my skin, the whole 9 yards. It would just not be good. And my scale would flip me off. But so some of that, oh shit, what am I going to do, is our own. But that energy is felt. Sometimes it's like a times 10, like it's been magnified because of that same energy collectively from everyone else. Now,
correct. So I really fast before you go into the next thing, I have like a on the flip side example. So on the flip side, if we were not experiencing what we are experiencing right now, and I walked into the grocery store to an empty produce section, I would have just thought they're remodeling.
Right?
Or
because our grocery store did that recently. So yeah.
Yeah, or I would have thought something other than, oh, great, people have been dumb and now there won't be food.
No judgment, though.
I am running my clearing statement repeatedly.
That's funny. Oh, my God, that's awesome. Yes. Yes, because if I go into the grocery store, our grocery store did recently remodel. And, it was It was hard to find stuff. There was stuff they didn't have. We're talking, it was down to the cement floors, and it was kind of weird, but not in a scary way. It was just more, well, crap, I don't know if I can even get my grocery shopping done. Well, guess what? There's a whole bunch of other stores to go to choose from. Yay. It wasn't a big deal. It was more of a, quote, inconvenience than anything, but not a reason to panic, unlike what we've been experiencing recently, it seems, here. So with the whole, is this even mine? Often what I find for myself is I don't always notice it immediately. Like one example that I had recently come up was we were at the chiropractor, and as we were leaving, I looked at my half side and I just asked him, I said, was there someone in there recently who either had lost someone or was dealing with some kind of loss, was dealing with a bunch of grief? And he said, yes, 2 people. I'm like, okay, that explains it. Because before we left, all of a sudden just this huge wave of sadness hit. Now, mind you, I'm out on my adrenal support supplements, so it could have been my own, and it could have just been a weird hormonal flash, kind of like hot flashes happen. Sometimes the emotional flashes happen, especially after an adjustment. If things have been out, it's like there can be both physical and emotional reactions. So I was trying to discern, is this me being sad? Because then it gives me an opportunity to look at, okay, so what is my sadness about? Because there may be some things I want to and need to clear as well for myself and deal with, some things to sit with and look at. But it didn't feel like mine. And I wish I could describe, my husband likes to talk about building your library. And for those of you who don't know, half side and husband are the same thing. Building my library. So when something shows up, I get to go, oh, that's what that means. And then if it shows up again in that same way, it just really starts to make something concrete. I can file it away in my gray matter, in my library, so that next time it shows up, I recognize what it is. And I wish I had a succinct, easy way to say, and this is how I tell if it's mine or not, beyond what Lila was suggesting, where you simply ask, whose is this? Is this even mine? That kind of thing.
And do understand that I don't always remember to do that, which is why I have Naomi and Lisa in my life.
Oh, yeah.
Because the last 2, well, not the last, maybe the last 2 times I was sad, I was like, well, I'm sad, so I would like prayers, please. And Lisa said, is it your sadness? Well, now that you ask, I'm not sad anymore, so I guess not.
So I'm going to go with no on that for a minute. The other thing for me, and that's because now some of you who are listening to this may be like, wow, they're really going way out there. That's okay. It's okay. Hopefully you'll stay tuned. For me, oftentimes when that shows up, I don't see see-throughs. And for those of you who don't know what a see-through is, spirits. Apparently they don't like to be called dead people. So,
non-corporeal beings.
Good Lord, that's a mouthful. I don't see them. My half-side does. I do not. I don't hear them typically, but I get a sense. And so sometimes when those feelings show up and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I don't think that's mine. Often it's because someone is trying to get my attention and let me know they're here.
Mm-hmm. That's a new level of who does this belong to.
Yes. Yes, and I'm working on learning. And so people, if you're listening to this and you're like, I don't got that gift, well, guess what? For a long time, I didn't think I did either. I made a conscious choice to start paying attention to energy. I made a conscious choice to start exploring the realm of metaphysics and exploring what does this even mean. And to the point where we would go do exercises and I would walk past bushes or trees or things to really get a sense of their energy field. So we all have these abilities. We simply have not tapped into them. We actually, really what it is, it's not that we haven't tapped into them. We forgot them because we knew all this as kids.
Mm-hmm.
Children are, and that's why when they say children are like little sponges, it's not just about what you say. They are little sponges with your energy. They are little sponges. They know. You don't have to tell a kid. You don't have to tell a cat. You don't have to tell a dog when you're sad. Kids, cats, and dogs will come up to you.
Oh my gosh, it used to drive me bonkers.
Right?
I'm grouchy, leave me alone. And the toddlers are like, but we love you, Mommy.
Uh-huh.
Fine.
Because on some level they understand you need that comforting.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a great place to pay attention to what's coming in. Is this even mine? And on the flip side of that, well, maybe not the flip side, and the next step to maybe is asking, and what do I need to do about it? Is there anything to do other than acknowledge that it is or isn't yours?
Yeah, the next question to ask if you determine that, okay, yes, this is mine, would be, what do I do with it? Can I change it?
Yeah. What is this asking me to look at? What have I not processed? What have I been shoving, ignoring?
30 years worth of feeling.
Right. But it is time to deal with. And sometimes we have to sit in our shit to really be able to get through it. We have to be with those emotions for a minute. I was just trying to see who's paying attention out there. Okay. Sometimes journaling helps. Access consciousness questions are brilliant and beautiful, wonderful. So grab Lila if you need that.
Yes, come get some coaching. That'll be
right.
fun.
Coaching and healing from Lila and Naomi. My belief is, and tell me what you think on this, Lila. My belief is that even if what I get is, yep, nope, that's not mine, there may still be a reason it's showing up for me.
Tell me more.
Sometimes it can be that that's not mine, but it's there to show me what is mine to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it helps to uncover something I haven't been dealing with. Maybe there is someone, sometimes, and especially with the people that we are close to, we're a little more in tune with what's going on with them than sometimes we realize. Have you ever gotten a nudge to call your sister, brother, best friend, whatever, fill in the blank?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then you call them.
Hey.
They're like, oh, I was just thinking about you, or, oh, I'm so glad you called because.
Mm-hmm.
That's an energetic thing. And so sometimes looking at this energy, it's not, oh, well, I've determined it's not mine, so I don't have to deal with it. No, sometimes it's asking us to pay attention. What are those nudges? Cody Bateman calls them promptings. Our family calls them nudges. But it's that little tap on the shoulder that's saying, hey, this needs your attention. Hey, can you reach out to that person? Hey. And if it's a collective, like what's happening now, maybe it's just, can you say some prayers for the people? And I don't care who you pray to.
We really don't. I mean, you should hear everybody that gets addressed in the morning.
Right? There is a laundry list because we don't want to leave anybody out, you know?
Dear Council of Heaven.
Yeah.
Thank you for showing up for us.
God, creator, universe, doesn't matter. Jesus, Mary, and Joseph if you want. The great cosmic muffin, we do not care.
Dear Cosmic Muffin.
Right? Pray for the people.
Mm-hmm.
There's power in understanding, is this mine or is this someone else's? There's power in knowing that. Because when you know which it is, then you get to take action in a way that will serve you and will serve the greater good.
Okay. So, people are losing their noodles. How do I maintain my energy while the rest of the world feels like it has been set fire?
You Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle that shit.
Details? I haven't seen that show in 30 years. You can't do that to me.
I know, right? I never did watch it and I haven't seen the movie because that was not, yeah. Anyway, great. Chuck Norris, for those of us who are maybe a little older than the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
That's a great answer, though.
Right? So, for me, I have things I do. I have my medicine bag. I can always take that with me if I think I'm going to be out in the public where there's going to be energy. So you can use talismans if you want. Certain crystals people will use. And
the black ones are really good if y'all are curious. I don't carry black ones because I have to cleanse them in between every use. But...
Yeah. Like the obsidian. I have a piece of obsidian that needs to be cleaned, actually.
Obsidian, black tourmaline.
Yeah. This particular chunk of obsidian is way too big for me to carry with. But yeah, I had a friend who she would wear pine needles in her shoes to stay grounded. That sounds too pokey to me.
Yeah.
That was pokey with a P, not with an H. But I used to make a grounding tea out of sage and rose hips and chamomile if I knew I was going to be in some kind of an event where there were going to be a lot of people, where there was potentially going to be a bunch of energy. So being proactive is especially helpful. It's helpful anytime, but especially when people are losing their noodles, as you put it.
Yes, yes, yes.
And when you find yourself in a situation where maybe you haven't been as proactive as you could, there's a couple things I recommend. And one, I had an experience where, and I think I may have talked about this on one of our other episodes. I was with some friends going to an event to hear a speaker. It was a small group of people. It wasn't like some big, large room. It was kind of an in-person training, and there was maybe going to be 30 people or so, 30 or 40 people. And my friends introduced me to a friend of theirs. Well, if I don't know you, chances are, especially if it's kind of business related, I'm going to reach out my hand and shake your hand because I don't know you. And this person was like, oh, no, I'm a hugger, and came in and hugged me. And it was just like, oh, okay. First of all, I'm from the Midwest. What the hell is with all this hugging in business? But let me tell you, if you come to California, there's hugging in business. Just get used to it. Just get used to it. But so everything was fine, and then we were waiting. You know, there was probably another half an hour before the event started, and was chatting with this person, and then they went off to chat with some other people, and I found myself getting more and more antsy and just really kind of frantic feeling inside. And this particular individual who hugged me does coaching, but they also do some healing work.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had to go outside, take my socks and shoes off, stick my feet, literally stick them in the dirt. And I hugged a tree for about 5 minutes. People are all looking at me, and I'm like, I don't care. You just go on in. Bye-bye. See you in a minute. Because I had to get grounded. I'm like, what the hell just happened? And when I got home, I asked my half side about it, and I'm like, what was that about? And so I showed him a picture of him, and he's like, oh, okay, yeah. This person, based on their nationality, their nationality, their heritage, and also the gift that they have a tendency, they know they're doing it on some level, but they're not necessarily conscious of doing it. They push, quote, and I've got it in quotes, healing energy, because it isn't always what that person that they're pushing it into needs, but they just have this habit of pushing that healing energy. It's just become such a habit of who they are that they're not conscious that they're doing it. And I'm like, well, is there anything I can do to not have that happen again? Because that was horrifically uncomfortable. I mean, it wasn't like it put me in pain. I didn't feel like I was in danger. It just antsy, like I'd had a pot of coffee and couldn't shake something off. And he said, well, my question to you is, why did you feel like you needed to take that energy on? And I'm like, what? But I didn't. And he said, when you recognize that that's happening, you get to choose, or even if somebody does come up and hug you, you get to choose in that moment to keep the energy in you or not. You can just let it flow through you and out your feet into the ground. I'm like, what? So I've gotten to practice that. That's again, if everything is energy, think of yourself as the copper pipe. You can be that conduit. If you don't like copper, you can be ceramic. That's a good conduit too. You can, or maybe that's the insulator. But anyway, you can let that energy go through you and like really visualize it simply going through you and right out your feet into the ground, because the mother can handle it. So that's my story, and that's how I have learned. I don't always do it perfectly. I don't always remember to do it, but as soon as I start getting agitated and I can't figure out why, all of a sudden it's like, oh, whose energy did I just hang on to?
Thank you for sharing that, because I definitely will be utilizing the copper pipe imagery. I like copper.
I know, right? It's pretty.
Germs don't stick to it. I have a copper tongue scrubber. Anyway.
They don't. Viruses don't like copper either, so a lot of health professionals will encourage people to take zinc and copper because the viruses can't stick to copper, but that's a different story for a different day.
Yeah. We'll have that nerdy conversation too.
Yeah.
I love put your feet on the ground. It's April. It is warming up around this part of the planet. So if you can, put your bare feet in the earth. Your system will thank you. And it will help you be able to get to a place where you're like, oh, maybe I should ask who this belongs to.
Yeah.
Instead of just assuming it's mine and going on about my day with somebody else's stuff.
The one thing I would caution, if you're in Southern California and you do that, just pay attention to where you are stepping, because I did that to get grounded one day, stuck my hand, got, crouched down, my feet were in the dirt, stuck my hand in the dirt, and about 10 seconds later, my hand was covered with fire ants. So just be cautious. because they hurt like a mofo.
I just had
you don't have those in the
flashback to
Midwest.
the 1980s. I used to kick the tops off of their piles, and then they would bite me, and then I would repeat the next day. So clearly, I am teachable.
Pavlovian response was not strong in that one.
Oh
So
my
I know
God.
you have some juicy tools for the word self-preservation is what wanted to come up, but I think that's just because I've been listening to Indigo Girls. But what self-preservation, what tools can people use to either be proactive and prevent, or to transmute if they have let that show up?
Took all my tools. No. One thing that we haven't already mentioned is intentionally putting yourself in a protective bubble when you wake up in the morning. So it's one of the things that we did we instituted during Magnetic Mornings was to put yourself in some sort of protection, and you and your imagination and your intuition get to decide what that looks like for you. I personally love an energy egg of my color of choice, and then I just walk around in my energy egg all day. And I know that nothing can permeate my energy egg except for what I've already decided can come through, which is usually ease, joy, and glory, because those are my favorite ways to be. I'm also always open to miracles. And then anything that does not serve me, it hits my energy egg and dissipates.
I like that.
And I've practiced it sufficiently that I don't need to hold it in place all day. I put it in place and then I just go about my life because I know it's still there.
Yeah.
Meditation is a good way to build up to this energy is mine, this energy is not mine, because you're already starting from a calm place. And so then when something shows up, you're not being tipped into chaos. You might just be tipped out of the calm place, and then you will have the wherewithal, hopefully maybe, to ask, is this even mine? Who does this belong to?
Back to that question.
Yes.
Love it.
Essential oils. So the problem with me and essential oils is I'm not clear about singles. What came to me was Young Living's Valor, and they are paying me for this particular commercial. But Valor is a fantastic grounding oil that we put on first thing in the morning. It not only boosts confidence, so it's great if you're going to go, give a presentation, or if you've got speech today at school, or show and tell, or if you're doing a sales pitch. Valor is fantastic. It's also known as a chiropractor in a bottle, just a weird random side note about Valor.
Ooh.
But it's great for maintaining your own energy because it is a grounding blend.
I like that.
Yeah. And cedarwood. My team is saying cedarwood is a great grounding blend, but I have no scientific knowledge to back that up. That came straight from spirit. So maybe I'll Google it later and put it in the show notes for you.
Cedarwood?
It's a tree, so.
I was going to say in the teachings that we follow, when we are when we're smudging, like when we go do ceremony, when we smudge, if we're smudging for spirit, it's sage that we use. If we're actually cleansing physical things, we use cedar. So that would make sense that to me that cedar would be kind of a grounding. I like cedar. Cedar and sweetgrass, but sweetgrass that's more to get rid of the stinking thinking, which actually can be really helpful
Yeah.
right now as well, just
There's
because
a lot of thinking. And you want to make sure that it's not yours.
panic schmanic is sheesh. So yeah, something to consider anyway.
I love it.
Awesome. Do we feel like people have some good tools to employ?
Yes. 2 more. Have a session.
Ooh. Right.
And have a session. I think now would be phenomenal for timelines.
It is. Now it's phenomenal for timeline and, the breakthrough to go through all the negative emotions, but there's also the anxiety protocol with timeline, which is designed really, because for people, if they're feeling anxiety right now, that is theirs versus the anxiety that they're feeling from other people. But if they're feeling anxiety that is theirs, it didn't start now.
I just want to know why this is not everywhere, all over everything. Why your calendar for the timeline anxiety protocol is not everywhere.
Because I haven't put it out everywhere, I guess.
Okay.
I guess I might need to go do that.
We will do that right after this call.
Well, I have another call right after this call, so probably not right after this call, but maybe right after this call.
Okay. I dig it.
Yeah. It is on the list for this week. So, and by the time that always sounds so negative. You people. By the time you wonderful beings listen to this call, it will be out there.
Excellent. And then I'll have a link for the show notes. I'm super excited. If you guys cannot tell, I love working with Naomi. I love it when she timelines me because I go right into trance and then I'm just like, ooh, fun things happened.
Cool. Something shifted. Don't know what, but there it goes. Woo. Yeah. Right?
Funny, we're not trying to get rid of the migraines, but there they went. Oh, I know.
That's a good side benefit.
Yeah. Lovely side effect. Okay. I'm done with the commercials now.
All right.
If you guys have questions for us, drop them in the show notes. If you need an anxiety protocol timeline with Naomi, go ahead and click the link and get yourself scheduled because I plan for her to be booked solid. So, yeah, do that for yourself.
I would love to be booked solid, and I'd love to help see all the transformations that come from that and how we approach not just what's going on right now, but how we approach other things in our lives coming up by clearing some of that.
That's why I want you to book solid, because I want all the anxiety to die down so that people can stop mysteriously crying.
So no more crying my energy alone.
Exactly. So, thank you guys for listening and giggling with us. Yes. What?
Get their anxiety handled.
Get your anxiety handled. And we will talk to you guys next time.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone.